There's major reaction coming in after President Biden's high-stakes news conference. NBC's Peter Alexander explains how the latest public gaffes could impact his decision about the future of his candidacy.
This morning, reaction pouring in from President Biden's doubters and defenders following that nearly hour-long news conference in which he insisted he can do the job for another 4 years.
I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this to complete the job I started.
While also saying other Democrats could win the election.
But there are other people who could beat Trump too. But it's awful start from scratch.
The president pressed on whether he would get out of the race if his team told him Kamala Harris was more likely to beat Donald Trump.
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
But with anxious Democrats and eager Republicans watching every word with increased scrutiny on the president's abilities, his answer to the very first question drawing attention when he misspoke.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Former President Trump and his allies immediately seizing on that mistake.
Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
It came after a similar misstep earlier in the day while introducing Ukrainian President Zelensky. But that time, he caught it.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
It's Peter Alexander reporting. This morning on Today, Congressman James Clyburn, one of the president's strongest allies, said the conversation should focus on the record of the administration and on the alternative in this election.
And Jeff, happening now in the WRAL Live Center, more political fallout for the president this noon hour. The New York Times now reporting mega donors are set to be freezing about $90 million pledged to the largest super PAC supporting the president if he remains in the race. This is according to two people familiar with that conversation. The super PAC we're talking about is called Future Forward. Of course, after his gaffes last night, you just heard them there in that report. 3 more Democrats are calling for Biden to end his reelection bid. That's more than a dozen Democrats now calling for the president to step down. And as this quick reminder, during last night's press conference, Biden called Vice President Harris Vice President Trump. He also referred to the Ukrainian president as President Putin. Of course, we all know President Putin is the president of Russia. We will continue to follow this story right here in the WRAL Live Center.